your blood. By your blood, I'm covered by your blood, your precious blood. So the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the literal genealogy establishes the basis for the theological genealogy. The God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, or Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and what God revealed to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. And that is what is in the ground. That is the foundation in the ground. That is a seed. And that seed produces the, the, the trunk of the tree that grows up. The seed produces the trunk, and that trunk is the Mosaic covenant. The branches are the prophetic ministries, what God revealed to David and the other prophets. And the fruits on the tree would be Jesus and his disciples, or Jesus and the apostles, or the teachings of Jesus and his disciples. So you start with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, that is a seed. The trunk from the ground that spurts up would be Moses and the Mosaic covenant and teachings. The branches of that trunk, that came from the trunk, would be the prophetic ministries. And the fruit that are produced by those branches would be Jesus and the teachings he hands down to his disciples. So then let's look at it again. In the ground, from a theological standpoint, if you look at the tree, in the ground is a statement, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. That is the theological grounded statement. Coming out of the ground, the seed produces a trunk, a shooting from the ground, which is what God gave to Moses. The branches from the trunk of Moses would be the prophetic ministry of David, Elisha, Elijah, Samuel, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, all the way up to John the Baptist. And then the fruit on the tree would be the teaching of Jesus that he hands down to his disciple. So then, in the ground to this statement you have then Exodus chapter 3, verse 6, and the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Then there's another foundational statement that corresponds to this in the New Testament that Paul says that in Galatians chapter 3, verse 16. Paul declared that singular seed in Genesis 22:18, singular seed declares the Apostle Paul, meaning through your seed or through your offspring, through your descendant, singular, all the nations and the earth will be blessed. So in the ground you have the statement, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. In the ground you have the statement, through your descendants all the nations of the earth will be blessed. A singular descendant, meaning the Christ. Therefore, from the beginning, from God called Abraham and established his covenantal relationship with Abraham on the promise that I will do something special through you. I will give you a son, and this son will be the Savior and Redeemer of all of humanity. He would be the blessing of us all of humanity, as we see in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, that the seed of the woman would be victorious over the seed of the woman would be victorious over the seed of the serpent. The seed of the woman would be victorious over the serpent, which is to say, Christ would be victorious over Satan while being bruised by the devil, and it did that. That happened when he was crushed on Calvary, but victoriously he came from the ground. So the beginning of Christian started in Genesis chapter 22, verse 18, when God says, through your descendant, a singular descendant, all the nations of the earth will be blessed. So before the Mosaic covenant, there was the promise. Hence, the promise supersedes the Mosaic covenant. The promise of God to Abraham supersedes the Mosaic covenant. Moses established the covenant, the first covenant, but Christ is the promised son. Hence, Christ supersedes Moses. Jesus, the prophet like unto Moses, is more important than Moses. So Christianity, that is faith in the Messiah, started before Israel even became a nation. There was a promise of the Messiah before Israel even became a nation. The promise over the covenant, Christ, or the Messiah over Moses. The beginning of Christian is in the promise of the son of Abraham in Genesis 22, verse 18. So the next time, my fellow Christians, we are going to look at the definition of Christian in the time of Jesus. We're going to look at what is Christian in the teachings and ministry of Jesus.